cracking with you people?
We are back.
Nazi Action, welcome back to Showtime Showcase. In this episode, we just got done watching episodes 13, 14, and 15 of Avatar The Last Airbender. These three episodes focused on the Blue Spirit, which picked up immediately after the storm. Which is episode 13 from last week. And, once again, very well done episode. Premises, Aang, Katara, and Sokka are holed up in an area. Sokka's sick, Katara catches it, and Aang has to go get them some medication to help him out. We also see that Zhao, Commander Zhao, got promoted to Admiral Zhao. So now he basically is a big deal now. In terms of the army. I think Admiral in terms of naval terms is the highest rank you can get. If anyone wants to correct me in the comments, feel free to let me know. And he's trying to requisition the aid of a special forces unit that has very good accuracy when it comes to bows and arrows. Because he was a commander, the colonel of the facility turned him down. He gets a bird that basically tells the colonel, hey, this commander guy, he's admiral now, he's your boss. And he went, yes, that request just became an order. These guys are mine now. So he takes these archer guys, whose names I forget, I will admit, and he captures Aang, who has gone out to find these frozen frogs. Throughout the course, we also find out from Zuko Zuko finds out that Zhao found Admiral, and he has made finding the Avatar top priority. So now he's despairing a bit about whether he will be able to catch the Avatar due to the fact he has so few resources. Fast forward to Aang being captured. He gets rescued by this Blue Spirit, which, if you pay attention, you actually see the Blue Spirit mask in an earlier episode. I forget which episode it is specifically, but I want to say it's when they are either A, on Kyoshi Island, or B, when they're shopping for goods from the pirates. You actually see the Blue Spirit mask in an earlier episode. I forget which one specifically. And this Blue Spirit, all black with a blue mask, has these split swords that he keeps in one sheath, and he rescues Aang. He gets out, and we find out that it's Zuko. Now, full disclosure, this episode was specifically designed to be an action episode. We didn't learn a lot in terms of world building. We didn't learn a lot in terms of character motivation. We didn't learn a lot in terms of these characters. This is just basically following up on what we learned in episode 13. And once again, action on point.
It was.
Like, I feel bad for the animators having to animate all of that consecutive.
Jesus Christ.
It was like solid what? Including from the moment Aang takes off the run. To when the episode ends, I want to say close to 15 consecutive minutes of just action. And the episode ends with Zuko getting hit by an arrow, but he doesn't get killed or hurt, he just gets knocked out. Aang actually saves him. Because he remembers a time 100 years ago when he was friends with Fire Nation kids. And he asks Zuko if we were friends back then, if he knew each other back then, could we be friends? And Zuko fires a blast at him, and he flies away, but you see a moment in Zuko's eyes where he's like, honestly, probably. And it's a really good episode. This is a good follow because we just had an episode showing how similar these two are to each other.
Exactly.
And what are your thoughts on this?
Just basically like you said, like, it was just really good action, and just seeing how, most importantly, just seeing Aang, how he actually actually became a leader in a way when Sokka and his sister was sick. He was like, you know what? No, you two rest. I'll find something to help y'all. And I love that. Because even for a 12-year-old, that's a lot of pressure. But the fact that he actually is sort of slowly progressing and becoming, like, not only a lead, but just like becoming an adult in a way, and just trying to be a better leader in a way. I love that.
And it's interesting because, like you said, Aang steps up in this episode because this is very much a Aang has to be responsible episode. And it's very easy to just have these characters reset after each episode, especially in a kid's show. But no, they carried his character growth through these episodes,
Yeah.
up until now, we see it slowly being able to, and it makes sense for his to be slow because he is the main protagonist of the entire show. You can't just have it all be brushed in at once.
Yeah.
So, once again, we're rewatching the series. I'm predicting that by the end of the first book, Aang has basically matured.
Oh yeah.
He's basically matured. He still has that childlike joy and
Oh,
jokiness, but as far as like and I'm predicting this right now, as far as like him having his 12-year-old childish moments, we're going to see less and less of those until they're completely phased out, and then once book 2 and book 3 come along,
Yeah.
it'll be focused more and more on like the bigger picture aspect. But yeah, not a lot going on from Sokka Katara. Sokka's being delirious. He thinks that Appa is the funniest comedian he's ever met in his life, and Momo's stealing all this random junk for Katara, even though all she wants is water.
But some of that I couldn't understand how he was capable of bringing that stuff back.
Yes.
And then the fact that when she first told Mama, I need you to listen, like truly listen and understand. I need you to get water. And then you see from his perspective, all he hears is wah 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 I'm like, oh Jesus, this is going to end bad. This is going to end bad on so many levels.
It is, but you gotta bless that guy for trying his best.
Yeah, just bless him, But it's just crazy. Like even that short journey that he went through, like getting captured, getting saved by Zuko, and then find out that it was Zuko that saved him, and he was really contemplating whether he should save him or not. And then after all that, got the frogs and everything.
Yeah.
Was able to get back to those two, and still was like, you know what, I'm tired, I'm going to sleep. And the same thing with Zuko. He went through all that. He's like, no, I'm tired, I do not want to be disturbed. But I also still, even when he went to rest up, he was still thinking about that question that he asked. Cause he was just sitting there just contemplating like, oh yeah.
And he literally sitting there. I think the implication is that he's sitting there, he's thinking about the question. He looks at the Fire Nation emblem, and then he rolls over and goes to sleep.
Yeah.
Whereas Aang, Sokka asks Aang, did you make any friends? Aang goes, no. Didn't make any friends. And he falls asleep on the arrow on Appa's tail.
Yeah.
So it's a fun little parallel where it's like Aang's lying on top of representation of everything he's got to stand for, and Zuko's falling asleep next to everything he wants.
Yeah.
With one big question in his head, and it's a very good one too. Moving on to the next episode, going quickly along. This one's more about fate and how much of your fate you leave up to others and how much of your fate you shape. But it's about Aunt Wu, who is a fortune teller who basically predicts the fortune. This is basically a filler episode for the most part, but it's a very good one though.
It is.
It's a very good one because Katara gets obsessed with trying to figure out who her love life's going to be like. Sokka's a complete skeptic to the point where he questions everybody in the town about trusting Wu 100%. Aang is like, he believes some of it, but he's skeptical enough that he understands that it's not maybe all true.
Yeah.
The episode, I gotta say, opens up with this dude who is so chill he's gonna get checked by a platypus bear. And he's like, so he's like, yeah, no, everything's fine, I'm good. No,
but
he's just dodging and weaving and ducking.
But on top of it, he has his hand behind it, like no hand. I think he has his hand in his pocket behind his back, and just smiling. He said,
it's behind his back, but yeah.
Yeah, it's right. And yes, everything's good. Yes, all good.
Meanwhile, this giant clawed monster is bashing through trees behind him.
And this man is just got some really good reflexes. He's just sitting there just ducking with his eyes closed, just, oh yes, it's a good day. I'm like, what?
And we find out the reason why he's like that is because Amu predicted he would have a safe journey. And he said, okay, fine. He took that so far to heart that he's basically ignoring the thing that's attacking him, which I think is a metaphor is a physical representation that they're trying to send. This guy was told to mentally he'd be safe, but he's staring directly at danger. So on the one hand, and once again, Aang and the gang come in and save him. So yes, in the end, Wu was right, but in the moment she was wrong.
Yes.
And then we get to the end where it's like, it turns out that like 20 years ago they had this tradition of going to a mountain, check to make sure that the volcano would
Lord have
erupt.
mercy.
When Wu came in, she basically predicted it for them. It didn't erupt for 20 years. They're good to go. In this episode, she specifically says the village will not be destroyed. So Aang and Sokka go up because they try to find a flower for Katara. She sees the volcano's erupting. He goes, "No, you're wrong.
Yeah.
This thing will erupt." And the volcano does erupt, but Aang stops it, stops the lava flow from destroying the village. And they go, "Oh, I hope everybody." And Sokka's like, "Well, I hope everybody learned their lesson about trusting Wu blindly." And the guy really goes, "Well, her prediction was that the town would be destroyed. The town's not destroyed." And Sokka's like, "You're right, and I hate you for it." But yeah, one of the things was like, and at the end, Wu even says, one thing about this stuff, you can either shape it or give yourself to it.
Yeah.
The message of the story is there are some people who believe fully in fate and leaving their fate up to a higher power, and then there are those who believe in taking a stand, taking an active role in their life.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good lesson to teach in this.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and for a filler episode, it's a surprisingly well balanced one. It's not talking down to everybody. It's not like, oh, Sokka's wrong because he's doing all this. The only thing Sokka's wrong about is for basically trying to essentially shape people's faith.
Yeah.
That's the only thing he's really wrong about. And the other people, they're just wrong for not listening to another viewpoint.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, both sides are wrong and both sides are right.
Yeah, but this was a very good episode, like, to explain that. Though.
Yeah. And once again, TVY7 audience. That's who this show is meant for, people. And is tackling a surprisingly mature issue, an episode 14. The episode 15 was a little bit different. So we bump into a member of Katara and Sokka's father's war party.
Yeah.
And he's expecting a letter, and Aang is, once again, this is another Aang being a 12-year-old moment, where he's concerned that they're going to up and leave him.
Yeah.
And it's not an unfounded fear, because once again, remember, the whole impetus for why he's there 100 years later is because he didn't want to be separated from someone that he was very close to.
Yeah.
So Bato, I believe the guy's name,
Yeah.
they find him, Katara, and then they bump into him, he takes him back, they're all having a good time, and Katara and Sokka are essentially ignoring Aang for all intents and purposes, and Bato has to basically, remind him that, hey, you can't just use this stuff as toys and whatnot. And he says, I'm getting a letter from your dad, see where one of your point is. Aang gets the letter and he decides to hide it. Now, Sokka goes through this rite of passage near the middle of the episode.
Ooh.
And this rite of passage is basically like, yeah, you get the wisdom, Katara gets courage, and Aang gets trust. He's given the position of the most trusted.
That was hard.
And that would hurt him because it's like, you can't trust me, I've been lying to you this entire time.
Yeah.
And Sokka and Katara are rightfully angry.
Yes.
I argue rightfully angry because he hid the map to their father from them for like a whole day.
Yeah.
And once again, it's a really good process. We also get introduced to June, who is a bounty hunter,
Lord Jesus.
riding some kind of like mole rat squirrel thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And Uncle loves her.
Yeah, for some reason he does. I don't know why. It kind of comes. I would say it comes out of. I would say it kind of comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. Like,
I have to watch the episode again, but it feels like it kind of comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, but it was just funny though, like those moments that he had with her though.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh.
And she's introduced by jumping onto Zuko's boat, ripping a hole in the middle of it, and
Yeah,
fighting
good
the boat.
God, they ripped the whole thing off.
Yeah, I was like, Jesus, that thing got some strong teeth. And Zuko and Iroh find her later because she found somebody a continent away essentially.
Yeah.
And she's winning arm wrestling contests against these people who are much buffer than she is.
Yeah.
And she's just destroying them, making all this money. And I want to say the voice actress is Tara Strong. I want to say that's who that is. I have to look it up again, but it sounds like Tara Strong. Zuko and Iroh commission her to find Aang via Katara's necklace.
Yeah.
They end up going through, after Sokka and Katara, they end up coming back because, they realize, hey, Aang's just a kid, he's technically part of their family, they're going to help him out.
Yeah.
They'll find their dad eventually, but right now helping out Katara is the important thing. They end up Zuko, June, and Iroh tracked into this abbey where Bato is staying, and this awesome fight sequence breaks out.
Yeah.
It's like it's probably the most high energy fight sequence, and there's one part that I actually like where they basically fight on a well for all of like 10 minutes.
Good lord, man.
Not 10 minutes, like maybe 5 minutes.
No, for 5 minutes. But still though, it's the fact that they fight over for 5 minutes. Aang literally does these crazy moves under the cover of the well. Zuko breaks that cover, and Aang goes up in the air, grabs Katara's necklace, and just a dive in the well.
Yeah.
I'm like, good lord.
And there's a lot more to this fight scene going in. There's like, Appa gets to shine inside this moment where he's knocking this thing around. We see more of like Sokka being a quick thinker and how Katara wasn't using water bending because he thinks it's just water, but no, it's basically any liquid to use it. And it is, how do I say this? It's so high energy, and it's the last 5 minutes of the episode.
Yeah.
And it's honestly, and I'm like, honestly, I don't blame you guys for taking a break after that whole thing, the Blue Spirit, but hot damn, did you come back strong?
Yeah, bro, they did. I was like, Jesus. And then Uncle, the bounty hunter's own creature, like paralyzed him. Uncle pretended like he was paralyzed and had her in the arms. Zuko says to him, like, Uncle, I didn't see you get hit. You know, like,
and you see Jude open her eyes with very angry look on her face.
I was like, oh my God, Jesus Christ.
And I don't know, I almost, if you guys can point out a point in the episode where this happens, but I don't see where Iroh gets like sweet on June at all. I just don't see it.
Yeah.
I think it only happened near the end of the episode. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I really don't know why. But hey, y'all can point it out. Feel free. Ignore that. This fireworks going off. Yeah, you've been hearing noise in the background. There's been fireworks going off. It's July 3rd, July 4th, plus round the quarter. It's going to be kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. These last 3 episodes, once again, while arguably, with the exception of the Blue Spirit, arguably not a whole lot happened across the 3 episodes. We still got a decent amount from these characters and pretty decent lessons, at the very least from the volcano episode.
For fortune teller one.
For fortune teller, and it also once again it just goes to show that the writers of the show definitely put a lot of thought and effort into it. And get ready to get used to us saying that because so far I have not seen anything to the contrary saying no they did not put any effort.
Every episode we've seen so far, they put all their blood, sweat, and tears in every episode.
Yeah,
has not failed at all.
But I've yet to see one that I legitimately just didn't like or cringed at.
Yeah.
You know? So, hey.
Yeah.
Gotta give them props.
Yeah, you have to. You have to. For doing it for 3 seasons.
Yes.
And the writing was good. And writing, if I can remember in the past, it was good every single season.
I remember at one point, I did kind of drop out like throughout most of book 2 and some of book 3. But I do remember that the episodes I did catch were legitimately good.
Okay.
So, yeah, I look forward to finishing up this series.
Yeah, so.
Like I said, going like halfway through the first season, so.
Oh, that's interesting.
So we're going to be at this one for a while, guys.
Yeah.
I hope you guys are enjoying the show with us as we're watching it.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next week for episodes 16, 17, and 18.
Yep.
Deuces.
Peace.